Welcome back, all you beautiful thinking people, you to Advocation X, yours truly. We won't call this a rant, but this video is absolutely not opinion. It is only fact. It is based on pure fact. No conjecture, no supposition, just cold, hard truth. I hope you're seated and ready, because this could open so many eyes. And I want you all to like this video. I want you to share this video. If you don't subscribe, that's fine, but I need you to like it and share it. You don't want to become a member? Fine again. Please share this video, because the perspectives I'm going to put out here could help 1, 2, 3 people that you might touch with it. So let me begin. The information I'm going to divulge to you here is personal and deep. It's real and it's lived. So I'm speaking in the first person. Me, myself and I. I grew up in the heart of Montreal, downtown Montreal, one of the toughest neighborhoods in the entire area. It's called Saint-Henri, St. Henry. Right off of Atwater Street, right in the downtown, right by the Atwater Market and Alexis Neon Plaza, right around the corner. A rough neighborhood. And at 3.5 years old, I remember, because that was the tradition of the day, you get your breakfast, brush your teeth, clean up, and out you go. So I would. And I used to get beat up every day. Rocks thrown at me, sticks over my head. Why? Because I was black. Oh, wait. Did I forget to mention also because I was English? So being black and English in Montreal at 3.5 years old meant a daily beating. They hurt, guys. If you think children are so resilient that they can take anything and it's no big deal, it's a big deal. When I say us, it's because later it was me and my neighbor. We used to go together hoping that maybe we could deter some of it. Didn't happen. We were still pelted with rocks and sticks and beaten and chased. We couldn't fight back. We didn't know how to fight. But what we did eventually do is we got a whole pile of rocks and we would keep them in the areas where we used to frequent. So if we got chased, we would run to those areas and then we'd be armed to be able to, at least sail some of these rocks back. We got pretty good at it. We moved then from there to an area called Saint-Laurent. And that was a northern suburb of Montreal. Lovely, lovely place. I'll have to tell you, let me preface this with the fact that some of the most wonderful, wonderful years of my life was spent in Saint Laurent, but not at first. I'm almost 5 years old. Actually, I was 5 years old because I went to kindergarten downtown. So I'm 5 years old, we're moving into the area, and I used to love to please my family. So if they needed something from the store, I would run all the way at top speed, get what they need and run back. It was almost like I never left, and they would have what they were looking for. And that was a source of pride for me. And then I realized there was something wrong. I'm running up towards the store, and there's a crowd of people there. It just felt a little weird, but I kept running until all of a sudden I'm confronted, stopped, beaten, the quarter taken from me that I needed to buy my mom a loaf of bread. I find out later, not that day, but this happened on a regular basis. I find out it's because I'm in a white French neighborhood, being black and English. I remember calling my brother when he came back from the cadets and saying, I need help here. I'm being beat up by these people. There's groups of them and everything else. And the one guy, I said, he's about your size. So my brother, who had been teaching me a little bit of savate, and my father, who started me into boxing at 5 years of age. Actually, I guess my father started me at 4. My brother started me at 5. In savate, I started to feel really good. My brother was going to take me back to these group of people, and he was going to take care of business. So as we approach, we're about maybe 30 yards, 25 yards away from this group, And my brother sees the big tall guy. I'm like, see, I wasn't lying, eh? I'm feeling really proud. My brother's going to take care of all these guys. It'll never happen to me again. And he looks at me and he says, get over there and take him out. I said, what? He's almost twice my size. I'm like 6 years old by this point. Get over there and take him out, or you'll have to deal with me here. So, if you knew my brother, he's an amazing individual. He's an angel at heart, but whoa, can he ever go. So off I go to face this mountain of a guy and do my best. And as I approach him, I'm looking him straight in the face. I'm aiming with my eyes, and I jump up to go and give him a punch, and a foot sailed over top of my head, and I saw this guy go horizontal and hit the ground. I hadn't even touched him. This mystery foot belonged to my brother. First lesson I learned, you don't get any help unless you're willing to help yourself. And I was willing to go over there and help myself and take care of this bully who didn't like my language or my skin color. Learning lessons all the way along. Everywhere I went, I ran into all kinds of issues, whether it be school with teachers, whether it be the store with shop owners. Everywhere I went. But you know what? I hardly even noticed. Remember I said I found out later why all these things were occurring? Yeah, it's true. I found out later. I didn't know up front. All the words that were thrown at me, all the things that were said, I had no clue. I didn't know how to speak French. I didn't know what they were saying. I know now. I knew later. So here I go. I'm in school. I'm having a great time. I'm having difficulties, of course, but I don't know why. I just think, whatever, bad luck. I meet this girl, and she convinced me to take a break from my current relationship to see if me and her could be a really good fit. I didn't know anything about that either, but it sounded reasonable, right? Okay, well, I'll take a break and see what happens. That didn't go over well with Claude, who was a lovely woman from France that I had been spending a lot of time with. I shouldn't say woman, we were kids. So I start this traveling with Sandra. Her parents somehow find out. She probably just told them out of the blue. Oh yeah, I'm chumming around with this guy, and this is what he looks like, and this is what his name is. Well, they grounded her for life. I'm not joking. They grounded her for life. They said, you are never leaving this house without us. She ran away from home. She showed up at my door. I didn't think it was right. And I told her so. And I took her back to her house. So, I hope you're listening really intently here. Because this is a difficult thing that we have to deal with every day of our lives. Every day. I brought her home. I knock on the door. A woman answers the door. She pulls back as if she just got shot. I'm like, excuse me, Mrs. Nouts, I brought your daughter home because I don't know what's going on here at your home, but she didn't want to be here anymore, and she showed up at my door. Now thank you very much, and she reaches for her daughter's arm and starts to pull her into the house, and her father comes to the door, and he looks out with this stern look on his face. And I said, sir, I just want to let you know I brought your daughter home because I thought it was wrong that she ran away from home. Oh, okay, well, thank you. And he goes to shut the door, and I stuck my foot in that door so fast. I'm like, wait a second. We need to talk about this. She told me why you grounded her. Well, listen, that's none of your business. It's my daughter, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, no, it is my business because you're affecting me. You're talking about me behind my back. You don't even know me, but you're ready to condemn me as being something horrible without ever having known me? His grip on the door kind of softened. Now, I'll dispense with all the tiny little details. He invited me in the house. They sat me down in the living room on their furniture. Imagine that. They were German, deep German. They had experienced all kinds of things in their lives that were, I guess, shaping the way they felt or thought. But what's more, the wife explains to me, she had been raped by a group of black men way back in her years. And ever since then, she hated and was terrified of black men. Dad admits he had been beaten by a gang of black men back in his day, and since then had been terrified and hated black people as a whole. So their family was deeply entrenched in hatred. And you could say, well, that's well-founded. And I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. Because all of those white, French, Italian, Greek, German people who jumped me all those years of my life, I didn't hold it against each race, or there is no goddamn race, but you know what I mean. Self-designated races. I'm German. Well, there's black Germans too, dink. I'm Greek. Oh, guess what? The Greek islands were populated by Africans. So that means when you invaded, you slept with our women and you became swarthy skinned, and you call yourself Greeks. You're not Greek. There is no... There's languages, there's religions, there's all these things that we all use to separate each other, but race is not one. Not holding against every single individual who considered themselves one thing or the other was easy for me. If his name was Bob, I had something against Bob. Not Bob's brother, not Bob's mother, not his sister, not his brother, not his friends. It was Bob. So if I walked down the street and there was 7 or 8 guys there and Bob was to look at me and cause a big confrontation, and I'm talking seriously here, this is what actually happened throughout my life. I would go right through the middle of those guys and I would punch Bob into another era. The other guys didn't move. When they saw the ferocity that came out of me from these individuals who were looking for confrontations, none of their friends actually got involved. This is since I was 6 years old. Now, this might be a big claim, and you might say, well, that's pretty high. No, let me not even tell you, because that might ruin your whole experience here. Let's just say, from 6 years old, I fought back. Vigorously. I looked for everyone that had taken advantage of me that I could find, and I fought back. I always allowed them the first shot. I never started the fight, but I definitely verbally confronted these individuals every single time I found one of them. Not every time I found them over and over again subsequently. I'm talking about the one initial confrontation, because I had to take care of this and make sure that these guys never messed with me again. So after hearing the story from these folks and explaining to them what it's like to live in my skin and going through all of the things that really are hateful and terrible to have to put somebody through, the father turned to his daughter and he said, and this is almost a quote, we're talking 1,000,000 years ago, but I still remember this like it was yesterday. He said, anytime you are going to leave this house, you're going to leave with Clyde. If there's a dance or anything going on, you can go with Clyde. He basically turned us into boyfriend and girlfriend after hating me from afar, grounding his daughter for life, not a month, not a year, for life. What's the moral of my story? I have dealt with and overcome racism my entire life. Sometimes physically, sometimes verbally, sometimes by just sheer avoidance. But should I have had to? Should I have had to? Because I was born from my mother, who was a wonderful, loving, caring, hardworking woman? Should I have had to endure all of that just because my mother loved me and wanted me to come into this world? Are you saying that she should be penalized because she decided to have a child? Or are you punishing me for something that you yourself have a problem with? that your psyche needs to be adjusted. Do you remember that old saying? When you do this, there's 3 fingers pointing right back at you. See that? So when you point at me and you say, "Ah, you're a terrible person because you're black," there's 3 fingers pointing at you saying, you have 3 times the deficit of that person you're pointing at. 3 times the issues. Look at yourself. Fix yourself. Don't try to fix me. Fix yourself. And by doing that, you will fix me. You don't have to be my protector. You don't have to stand in front of me when other people want to confront me. All you have to do is fix you. Fix you and touch another person with the repair. Touch another person with the repair. Spread this video. Help people understand. They can hear it and they go, yeah, whatever. Hear it from the horse's mouth. This is the way life is. Every single day of my life, unless it's spent behind closed doors with my own family, at which point you have sibling rivalries, you have all kinds of other things to deal with. Do we seriously have to come out on the street and deal with more? Think about it. So, to you, my beautiful thinking people, help others think about it. Share this video. Make sure that this goes so viral. Let everybody understand there's no reason to punish somebody who had no choice to be who they are. Appearance-wise, physically, tall, skinny, fat, black, green, pink, orange, whatever you want to call them. If you're going to blame that person for being born with the assets that they were born with, what does that make you? Seriously, what does it make you? You can have preferences, okay? Prejudice? I think everybody's prejudiced. I'm driving a vehicle right now that I really like a lot, but I'm prejudiced against it. All I want is a Tesla, and eventually I will get one. Being prejudiced is a normal thing. We prejudiced ourselves either for or against many things based on the variables that accompany those things. If you don't like somebody who has a long face like I do, well, it's a preference. That doesn't mean you have to hate me. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. What it means is that your tastes are different. If you like steak and I like chicken, what's the problem? Eat your steak. I'll eat my chicken. And if you offer some steak to me, I might try it. It might be amazingly good. But I wouldn't know that, would I? Unless I took you up on your hospitality, if you have any. So please, share this video. Let people understand. It's a sharing of culture, a sharing of understanding as to why I do A, why you do B, why they do C. Helps you to not be afraid of each other. Traditions are traditions. They can be changed based on choice. You can't force people to change their traditions, but you can set a good example and hope that they will change. So by this, I'm hoping that everybody starts to set a good example, a great example. That means go above and beyond what you think is a good example. Go above and beyond. Help a neighbor. Help somebody crossing the street. I don't see that anymore. I grew up with those principles. Find something good you can do every day for other people, not for yourself. And think, if you spread this wide enough and everybody starts to adopt that idea, what a wonderful world it would be. And I give the copyright to the song. It was a beautiful song. How about Michael Jackson, We Are the World? Listen to it. Listen to it. Then what a wonderful world it will be. Thank you so much for hearing me out. And if you're still here, You are cherished beyond your own belief, because I needed you to hear this. I needed to get this out. Take care. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Stay happy. Stay healthy.